My girlfriend said she wanted a cute romantic dinner, but showed up with 5 of her friends and handed me the menu saying, "If you can't afford my circle, you can't afford me." They ordered bottles, laughed at me, and called me sponsor material. I paid the bill, left early, cancelled every card with her name on it. The next morning, 52 missed calls and a message that just said, "Where did you go?" Last Friday night officially goes down as the most expensive reality check I've ever received. I should probably introduce myself. I'm 29, work as a network engineer for a healthcare system, and until very recently was dating Amber, 27, for almost a year and a half. We met through mutual friends at a Super Bowl party last year, and things progressed pretty quickly. Looking back, maybe too quickly. Amber has always been the more outgoing one between us. She's a social media manager for a local boutique, constantly posting aesthetic coffee shops and Sunday brunches with her girlfriends. I'm more of a homebodies with a solid group of guy friends I've known since college. We game online, grab beers occasionally, nothing flashy. Early on, I noticed Amber loved nice restaurants. She'd always suggest these trendy places where the menu has no prices and the portions look like modern art installations. I didn't mind splurging for special occasions, but I also introduced her to some amazing local spots where you don't need to take out alone for dinner. She'd enjoy them, but always make comments like, "This is such a cute little hidden gem," in a tone that somehow made it sound like she was slumming it. I should have seen the red flags, like how she'd forget her wallet on dates, or how she'd order the most expensive wine without consulting me. Or the time she asked for my credit card information for an emergency 3 months into dating, but I was into her. She was beautiful, charismatic, and somehow chose to spend time with a regular guy like me. Despite dating for over a year, we never moved in together. I have my own condo that I bought before meeting her, and she shares an apartment with a roommate. She did have a key to my place though. Something I'd completely forgotten about until this whole mess unfolded. Fast forward to last week, Amber texted me Thursday afternoon. "Hey, babe. Can we do a cute romantic dinner tomorrow? Just us. I miss quality time with you." It had been a few weeks since we'd had a proper date night alone, so I was excited. I made reservations at Bastille, this upscale French place downtown that she'd been hinting about for months. Not cheap by any means, but I wanted to treat her to somewhere special. Friday evening, I arrived 15 minutes early, dressed in my best suit, the one I save for job interviews and weddings. The host showed me to a table for 2, and I ordered a glass of wine while waiting. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed. "We're walking in now." Before I could text back, I looked up to see Amber walking toward me, followed by 5 other women. I recognized them from her Instagram as her girl squad. My stomach dropped to somewhere around my ankles. Surprise. Amber squealed, air kissing me on both cheeks. "I brought the girls. Hope you don't mind." I told the restaurant to change our reservation. The table for 2 had indeed become a table for 7, right in the center of the restaurant. The host was already bringing extra chairs. I must have looked shell-shocked because one of her friends, Madison, smirked and said, he thought it was a date night." Amber slid the menu toward me with a wink. "If you can't afford my circle, you can't afford me, babe." Then she turned to her friends and added, "Don't worry, girls, order whatever you want. Eric's got this." I just sat there trying to process what was happening as these 6 women settled in, immediately ordering cocktails and discussing appetizers. My romantic dinner for 2 had turned into me hosting a girls' night out that I never agreed to. "Don't be so tense," Amber whispered, squeezing my arm. "This is good for us. My friends need to see you can provide." Provide? I wasn't aware I had signed up to be a provider. The waiter came by and without even consulting me, Amber ordered 2 bottles of champagne. The Cristal, not the house, she specified, flashing the kind of smile she usually reserved for Instagram photos. As the drinks flowed, their conversation excluded me more and more. They talked about people I didn't know, inside jokes I wasn't part of, and occasionally threw glances my way that made me feel like I was being evaluated. So Eric, one of her friends, Taylor, finally acknowledged me directly. "Amber says you work with computers or something. Is that like IT help desk?" Before I could explain that network engineering is quite different, another friend jumped in. "Doesn't matter what he does as long as the credit card works." They erupted in laughter, like this was the funniest thing ever said. Amber didn't defend me. She just smiled and sipped her champagne, then added, he's good sponsor material, stable job, owns his condo, no annoying roommates to deal with. Sponsor material. Like I was auditioning for a role, not participating in a relationship. The food arrived course after course that I barely touched while they took photos of everything from multiple angles before eating. They ordered 3 more bottles of wine, desserts for everyone, and after-dinner drinks. My mental calculator was going haywire, but I estimated we were well over $1,000 into this meal. When Amber excused herself to the bathroom, her friends didn't even pretend to be nice anymore. You know, she's still talking to her ex, right? Madison said casually, scrolling through her phone. What? I felt like I'd been punched. Oh, come on. Another friend chimed in. You didn't think you were the only one, did you? Amber needs options. She's just keeping you around until Derek figures out his situation. Taylor added. Don't get too comfortable. Derek, her toxic ex she claimed to have completely cut off 6 months ago. I sat there staring at my untouched steak, now cold. Every laugh, every inside joke, every dismissive glance suddenly made sense. I wasn't a boyfriend having dinner with his girlfriend and her friends. I was the entertainment, the joke, the walking credit card. When the check came, Amber didn't even pretend to reach for it. The total was $1,763.42. I silently handed over my credit card while her friends debated whether they should order coffees to go. This is what big boys do, Amber whispered, patting my hand condescendingly. They take care of their women and their women's needs. Something snapped inside me then. Not in an angry way, but in a moment of perfect clarity. I signed the bill, adding a generous tip for the waiter who had to deal with our table, then stood up. I need to make a quick work call, I told Amber. Server issue, back in a few. She nodded dismissively, already back to her conversation about someone's botched lip fillers. I didn't go outside to make a call. I went straight to my car and drove home. On the way, I called my bank and credit card companies. You see, 3 months ago, I had added Amber as an authorized user on 2 of my credit cards for emergencies and given her the login to my streaming accounts. I methodically canceled every card she had access to and requested new ones. I changed all my passwords from Netflix to my Amazon account where her address was saved as a delivery option. When I got home, I realized I had a bigger issue to deal with. Amber had a key to my condo. I immediately called a 24-hour locksmith who came out that night to change my locks. Cost me $320 for the emergency service, but worth every penny for the peace of mind. I also texted my neighbor, Jim, who's on the condo board, warning him that Amber and I had broken up and she might try to cause trouble. After handling the immediate security concerns, I turned off my phone and slept better than I had in months. The next morning, I turned my phone back on to find 52 missed calls. 43 from Amber, the rest from unknown numbers I assumed were her friends. There were 96 text messages, most variations of "Where are you" and "Answer your phone" and "WTF Eric." The last message from Amber simply said, "Where did you go?" I took a deep breath and texted back home where I should have been all along. Then I blocked her number, but the saga wasn't over. Apparently, after I left, Amber and friends had tried to order more drinks only to discover my card had been canceled. According to a mutual friend who called me later that day, they had to scramble to cover the additional charges. With Amber loudly proclaiming, I must have insufficient funds because I was actually broke. By Sunday afternoon, Amber had created an alternate Instagram account to message me since I'd blocked her number. The message was a masterpiece of manipulation. "I can't believe you embarrassed me like that in front of my friends. You know how important appearances are in my industry. It was one dinner, Eric. If you can't handle a simple dinner bill, how are you going to handle a future together? Real men don't walk out. Real men don't cancel cards without warning. That was childish and petty. I thought you were different. I thought you valued me." I didn't respond, but I did screenshot it. On Sunday night, I got a text from Jim that Amber had shown up at our building claiming she'd lost her key and needed to get into my unit. Thankfully, he remembered my warning and told her I wasn't home. When she insisted she just needed to grab some things, he firmly told her she needed to contact me directly. According to Jim, she caused quite a scene in the lobby before finally leaving. Monday morning brought the inevitable meltdown when she realized she no longer had access to any of my accounts. I discovered this because she showed up at my workplace during lunch. Security called up saying a woman was insisting she needed to see me regarding an urgent family emergency. I went down to find Amber in full damage control mode, tears perfectly streaming down her face without disturbing her makeup. "How could you do this to me?" she demanded before I even reached her. "I tried to order Uber Eats last night and my card was declined." "My card?" "It wasn't your card," I pointed out calmly. "It was my card that you had permission to use. Permission that I've revoked. You can't just cut me off like that. What about all my subscriptions? My Spotify, my HBO, my Amazon orders?" I almost laughed. "Those are your subscriptions, Amber. They should be on your accounts, paid for with your money. I had plans for us," she said, her voice rising. People in the lobby were starting to stare. "I was going to move into your condo this summer. We talked about this." We had definitely never talked about her moving in. Not once. "Please leave," I said quietly, "or security will escort you out." She switched tactics, then moving closer, her voice dropping to the soft, breathy tone she used when she wanted something. "Baby, I'm sorry about dinner. I thought you'd be happy to meet my friends. We can work this out. Let's talk tonight. Just the two of us." I stepped back. "There's nothing to talk about. We're done. Please don't contact me again." The transformation was instant. The tears dried up, her eyes hardened, and she hissed. "You think you can just dump me? Do you know how many guys would kill to date me?" "Then call one of them," I replied. "But I suggest checking their credit score first." Security did end up escorting her out. That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, I've received dozens of messages from her friends calling me cheap, broke, insecure, and worse. Amber has apparently told everyone I abandoned her with an unpaid bill because I couldn't afford it. Conveniently, leaving out the part where I had already paid nearly $2,000. Our mutual friends are divided. Some think I overreacted just to dinner, while others, particularly those who have witnessed Amber's spending habits firsthand, have quietly reached out to say they understand. She tried to get into my building twice more after that initial attempt. The first time she told the daytime doorman she was delivering a package. The second time she claimed to be my sister who needed to feed my cat. I don't have a cat. After that second attempt, my building management added her photo to their do not admit list. Last night, I received a final message from an unknown number. "Obviously, Amber, you'll regret treating me this way. Good luck finding someone else who would even look at you." Maybe she's right. Maybe I won't find someone else as conventionally attractive or socially connected as Amber, but I'd rather be alone than be someone's sponsor material. The funny thing is that dinner at Bastille cost me exactly $1,763 or 42. The emergency locksmith was another $320. Walking away from a year and a half with someone who saw me as an ATM that was free and worth every penny I didn't spend. Edit 1. Didn't expect these many comments. Thanks for all the support, guys. Eat it too. To answer the most common questions. 1. Yes. I have all the text messages and receipts saved in case she tries anything. 2. No. We didn't live together. 3. Yes. I've told our mutual friends the full story, including screenshots of her messages calling me sponsor material. And 4. As many pointed out, changing the locks was the first thing I did when I got home that night. Edit 3. For everyone asking about the Derek situation her friends mentioned, I honestly don't know and don't care to find out. Whatever game she was playing, I'm not part of it anymore.